Alright guys, Rich here from the RC Network, and this is going to be a fresh unboxing of the Thunder Tiger Jackal. This is their newest 1/10 scale electric four-wheel drive Desert Buggy. This is a full ready-to-run version, and it comes with some pretty cool features. Now, I have never owned a Thunder Tiger vehicle before. Thunder Tiger right over here. So this will be somewhat new to me. I have not unboxed it yet. I've taken a peek inside because I wanted to just kind of check it out. I got it actually a couple of days ago, and I've been kind of dying to actually unbox this thing for you guys. So with that, let's go over some of the specs on the box, and we'll open this thing up. Now, of course, this is full ready to run, so it does come with lots of things inside the box to get you kind of running on day one. Right there, 2.4 gigahertz radio. It is a four-wheel drive shaft-driven vehicle. Now, this thing is very, very loosely based on the Axial Yeti. Of course, the Yeti was the first vehicle to kind of have that independent front suspension and solid rear axle with trailing arms. So very reminiscent of an Axial Yeti, but a little less in price than the initial price of that Yeti. So it does come with a full brushless system. It is 1/10 scale. Stay tuned towards the end of this video. You don't want to miss it. I am going to pull out my 2.0 version of my Yeti and just do a side-by-side comparison of the size so you guys can actually see the actual size of this. Now, of course, 1/10 scale, that's basically an RC term. It doesn't kind of go, down to the actual scale of the vehicle. So keep that in mind when you're checking that out. Off-road, I would hope this thing is off-road. It looks like it's off-road, so I definitely expect that. And then, of course, RTR, so ready to run. Let's look at the other side of the box here. This thing is actually pretty heavy. I was shocked when I got it. Somewhat of a smallish box, but it is pretty heavy there. So we are seeing the very familiar kind of fly sky looking radio right there, the typical kind of one that comes with a lot of Axials, Armas, some of those vehicles out there. Same receiver as well. I haven't seen the servo before. I'll have to look up the specs on that. The KSA7 standard servo, so I'm hoping that has some decent amount of torque. Looks like we have an 80 amp ESC. Looks like it is waterproof. I'm not sure. I need to kind of read into that a little bit more. And of course, a 3600 kV powerful brushless motor. That thing looks pretty familiar there. Appears to be sensorless and probably a 4-pole motor is what I'm guessing. What's really cool about this thing is it kind of has like a front lift up instead of the whole thing lifting up. So right there we're looking at the shock kind of mounted onto through the body, it almost looks like. So had to be a little bit unique for the body to probably replace the battery or just work on your items. So required for operation, you do need to supply all batteries for this. So you do have to supply batteries for the transmitter and then also battery for the rig. It says that it takes a 2-cell 30C 5200 milliamp minimum battery, so we'll have to check that out a little bit later here. Well, let's get this thing unboxed. Really kind of happy about this thing. This thing is pretty cool. Going to be a good little competition for my Yeti. Right here we're seeing some more specs here. The shocks look great. I mean, I can't imagine a great shock on a Yeti style vehicle. So looks like we have a pretty decent transmission and also a slipper clutch. We are going to be running the it looks like a kind of short course style wheel and tire combination, so that may open us up to different things we can do with this. Looks like it's equipped with Dean's connectors, which is awesome. Always love my Dean's connectors. 4-link suspension, full roll cage. This thing is cool. Let's unbox this thing. I've already cut the seals because, like I said, I kind of already peeked inside. I wanted to get a little bit of a brief before I unpackaged it for you guys. Right here, that is the owner's manual. It looks like it's already kind of taken out of a bag. Not sure if it was in a bag. But it looks like it has some pretty good exploded views on everything. Right there you're seeing, pretty much all the part numbers, exploded views. This is actually really nice. I like this. This is very different from a lot of RTR vehicles. Usually you get like 1 or 2 exploded views and you kind of have to like decipher everything. But this thing's pretty detailed, so very nice. All right, let's look inside here. So almost thought the tires were not connected, but they definitely are. I'm going to go ahead and peel this thing away. It looks like just a protector for the body. Very thin design. This thing is definitely a little bit smaller than the Yeti. I can see that initially here. Alright, let me get this thing out of the box. I will be right back. Alright, I went ahead and got everything out of the box there, and kind of want to show you some of the supplement items that come with your Thunder Tiger Jackal. Right here you get a little bag of tools. You also get a bind plug, kind of a T-wrench, and some Allen wrenches as well. Just came kind of loose in the box there. Of course, the famous Fly Sky radio. This is probably, you know, I've said this probably 100 times now, for one of my favorite RTR radios on the market. Uses 4 AA batteries. Has a great kind of drop-down wheel, foam wheel. It doesn't feel like cheap, and it actually does a really good job at 2.4 gigahertz. Has all of your controls up here for your steering, trim, throttle, steering dual rate. You have your reversing right there, and of course you can bind if it happens to come unbound. On-off switch, pretty easy, and has like a battery light indicator right there. So flip up antenna, so you know I pretty much leave it down and it works absolutely fine. Up will probably give you that last little bit of range. So a very decent remote for a lot of RTR vehicles. So now on to the star of the show here, the Thunder Tiger Jackal. Now this thing is definitely Yeti-esque. And I think what Thunder Tiger has done pretty well here is they've kind of improved on some of the downfalls of the Axial Yeti. So, you know, and I'll point those out as we kind of go through this thing. Now, what I really like about this is just kind of the stance, the look of it, the extra tire in the rear, the way the cage looks. I mean, it just looks really cool, definitely for the price point. So you do have Lexan panels that kind of bolt on in different sections. So you do have the top piece, the whole front kind of bonnet right here, I guess we can call it, and then the rear piece, kind of like a axial wraith right there. So very, very nice. I'm not sure what color it is. It looks grayish or tannish. I'm not sure. So you guys can comment on that below. But what I really like about this is the way that the body goes up. It basically flips up on a hinge right here and goes all the way back. So you're able to work on anything you need to work on in here without the body coming crashing down on you like another vehicle out there. So very nice design there from Thunder Tiger. Now on the flip side over here, let's take a look at the underside of the chassis. It has kind of that first portion of the chassis, and then it goes to the linkage behind. You are running on trailing arms and upper links, so it's a 4-link suspension. You do have your expandable drive shaft coming out there. Looks very, very similar to a lot of vehicles out there. Very kind of burly or beefy rear axle. It is an offset pumpkin, but very nice in the end. I mean, it seems pretty stout. And it is running the short course style wheels, so the 3-inch on the inside, 2.2 on the outside. So just to give you the clearance, probably for the front knuckles. Rear tire is a full functioning rear tire. You can actually swap this out for another one if you happen to get a flat, which you won't. It just kind of comes out right here with a Allen wrench. So let's take a look at the front over here. Super nice design, and this is one huge improvement over the Axial Yeti, are these kind of monocoque designed front A-arms. They are completely solid underneath. Let me flip it over here so you guys can see. Completely solid underneath. I mean, there's nothing to get in the way there. And then on the top portion, they have a plate that kind of bolts in to stiffen the front A-arm. So very, if you've followed Hot Bodies, the D413 and I believe the D812 use that same design. So really, really cool design there from Thunder Tiger here. So shocks seem to be pretty decent. We seem to be very well dampened and sprung on the front. A little bit under dampened in the rear. It feels like I'm riding on a lot of spring in the rear, but I'll have to test drive that once I get it going. Let's flip the cab up here. God, this is nice. This is so much nicer than another vehicle that I have. So right here we are looking at adjustable turnbuckles, both the steering and the camber. They are on kind of non-captured balls, so They, kind of like a B5M, that type of vehicle. So I'm kind of worried about that. But they do have holes drilled in, so you can actually unscrew the actual ball instead of popping them off to adjust things. Now the fronts are full CVDs, so that's a huge improvement over a competitor. So as far as an RTR version, so nice CVDs going into the front differential. Looks like the center drive shaft here is plastic. Rear is plastic as well. We do have that servo right there, the KS A7, I believe. I'm going to have to look up the specs on that later. I'll try and have that in the video description. On the flip side over here, we are looking at the TT80 waterproof 80 amp ESC from Thunder Tiger. So looks to be pretty decent. Has a fan pre-installed on it, Dean's plugs. Looks like they have some good wire management with a zip tie right there. And then on up to that 3600 kV brushless motor. Now that is a 540 sized motor. Looks to be, I'm guessing, a 4-pole motor. If I'm guessing right as to what it looks like. Has the both the slipper clutch, which seems to be pretty small there, and then also into the transmission to kind of turn it down. So pretty decent. Now the rear shocks also very decent, very similar to the fronts, but these are standard short course style shocks, so you could replace those out with almost anything, unlike the Axial Yeti. So let's flip this up. Looks like a standard 2-cell battery will fit in there perfectly. You can probably fit a 3-cell, but I need to check to see if that 3600 kV motor can handle it. So anyways, I only plan to run this thing on 2S. I think at 3600 kV it should be plenty of speed. I'll have to check the gearing as well. But anyways, well guys, I need to get out my Yeti, so stay tuned. Let's do a side-by-side comparison and see what they look like. Alright, so there we have the two vehicles side by side. You can definitely see that the Jackal is a little bit smaller than the Axial Yeti. Now this is of course the 1/10 scale size, quote-unquote, Yeti, but we all know it's definitely more 8 scale sized. The Jackal is definitely much more of a 10th scale vehicle. Now of course this thing is definitely not a regular RTR Yeti, so keep that in mind with my different wheels and body and all that other good stuff. So as far as a wheelbase or a wheel width, my front is running right at around 13¼ inches. The actual Jackal right here is running at right under 12 inches of a width. So, and that's just the fronts. My rear is just a little bit different. As far as the actual wheelbase from the axle to axle, I'm running it right at 14¼ The Jackal is running at a little under 13, so about 12 7/8 from axle to axle. So that'll give you some good sized variation of these two vehicles. Of course, the Axial Yeti's been on the market for quite some time now, and the Jackal is definitely very similar to it. And I think that they've done a few good things to kind of upgrade certain aspects that didn't work on the Axial Yeti. So anyways, guys, that is going to be my unboxing there of my Thunder Tiger Jackal. I can't wait to show you guys the running video of this thing. It is going to be damn cool, so stay tuned for that. If you have any comments or questions about this vehicle, please feel free to leave them on down below. And as always, thumbs up and subscribe. That's it for now, guys. Over and out.